Tesla just made a huge announcement and it is time to buy the stock. Here's the reasons why, plus three different ways you can get into the stock right now and go long, ranging from the most bullish to the least bullish for all of you traders out there. That's the headline. 466,000 plus vehicles delivered for the second quarter in 2023, blowing past expectations from analysts, sending the stock higher today in the trading session, and the production also increasing as well. So Elon Musk has the factories running, the giga plants are ready, they're pumping out the vehicles, and this is the closest thing that Tesla has to actual sales of units. So when you see the delivery numbers, these have a huge impact on the share price and what the stock is actually doing as a company. If we dive into the latest kind of quarterly reports for the vehicle deliveries, you can see that in the last little bit from 2020 to 2023, you have this nice little chart up here, and it just keeps going up linearly, aside from that little pullback in 2022 quarter two, but year over year, plus 44% in terms of production, plus 36% in year over year vehicle deliveries. So the future is bright and it is trending in the right direction. It's almost just an upward kind of 45-degree angle, which is exactly what you want to see on a bullish type of chart like this to support our case. Tesla also benefits from a very low operating expense margin compared to their income and revenue. $18 billion coming in the door, $1.8 billion going out in operating expenses. They have very high margins. They have a 10% operating expense, which is very, very good. And the net profit reflects that in their $2.5 billion profits in the first quarter of this year. What else do you need to know? The guidance for the full year for a term of deliveries is 1.8 million right there. If we stay on this track, 466 quarterly every 4 quarters, we will beat that with room to spare for the year, which would be, again, above estimates, above guidance, which is a good thing for the stock. They're pumping out more units than analysts assume they will. So all this good news, again, led to Tesla's stock price jumping nearly 7% today in today's trading session. In a shortened session, that's a big move for one company. And we want to look at one more thing before we go in to look at the charts. If you think Tesla's a buy right now and it's bullish on Tesla on your mind, make sure you like this video and tell me what your price target is or where you're trying to get into the stock. What are you trying to buy it? What are you trying to sell it? What kind of profit margin are you trying to make? In terms of profit and loss and the income statement here, they are highly kind of motivated to keep growing this balance sheet, growing the revenue stream coming up. You can see the expenses are growing alongside it, but the margins, again, are very, very good. There's a lot of buffer between the revenue and the operating expenses. And net income is growing year over year at a nice tidy rate as well. If you go into cash flow, you always want to have cash flow on hand as a company to get you through kind of the hard times. And that number has been buffering and kind of adding up over time as well. You can see there that the financials, the earnings and revenue are kind of steadily ticking upwards. So all things point to all systems go for Tesla. This was a good catalyst. Again, heading into seasonality for the stock as well. Look at this. You see that in June, July, there's a nice tidy rip up until kind of the middle of July, which is when Tesla has earnings coming out. July 24th is the day. And over the past 12 years, the earnings are about 55, 60% positive, 45-ish% negative when it's going to drop after earnings. So keep that in mind as you go ahead and make your trades as well. But if you want to get in this stock, let's look at a technical level where you think we're going to go to first, and we'll plan out our trades and show you, again, 3 different ways you can trade this in terms of how bullish you want to be. Super bullish, like max bullish, or kind of bullish, but a little bit of reserve and kind of a little bit of buffer built in just in case. So looking at this chart, we have an idea here at 279. If we zoom back out, let's go into a weekly candlestick chart and let's look at some areas of support and resistance right now. If I look in here and I just see this, first thing that hits my mind is that this is right here. We're going to draw this trend line in. We're going to put it right at this top line right here, right around that 293 area. That's kind of the topping out here from January of 2021. We've also got some kind of candlesticks kind of kicking around here. You can make a case for this area up here at 315, but ideally, like what's going to happen is it's going to hit around that 300 mark. And that's just a psychological kind of barrier for people. But before it does that, again, it's going to hit that kind of area, I think, right around here. We've got a couple candlesticks touching it. We've got a really big candlestick right there on this area at 293 and change. So that would be kind of my first target for an upward movement. Second target, 300, because it's a psychological barrier. And then on top of that, you have the top Bollinger Band, 2 standard deviations higher than what it's currently at right now on the weekly chart. If we jump it into daily right now, you can see nothing has really been in here for the last little bit. We do have this area, this third kind of area right there at the top, and in July and August of 2022, that 314 would be the upward kind of highest end price target as we move higher. So considering all these things, that we have a bullish setup. We had a really good rip right here, and we had a kind of pop back down there. We're kind of getting back into it again. We want to see this volume down here pick up a little bit to coincide with the RSI breaking above 70. Assuming it does, and even though it had a kind of bit of a pullback today on the initial pop, because kind of a shorter trading day, that kind of happens sometimes. We want to see it kind of hit these kind of areas here. But if you want to go super bullish, and you want to get into this stock and get in there and just go all in, and you're going to put it all on red here on Tesla, or all on green, whatever you want to say, you go ahead and you buy some calls. You want to buy some calls probably before earnings kind of hits, and the volatility around earnings is usually something that eats away at the call options. So you'd be looking at buying, let's see, that Friday is the 7th. You're looking at maybe the 14th for the July 14th call options, somewhere around here, to kind of get this kind of ballpark in the game. If you wanted to go up and straight up buy the stock, that's kind of the mid kind of area for if you're going to be super bullish or not. Buying calls is really bullish. Buying the shares outright is kind of like medium kind of style. And I would say here, if you want to take on a long position, I would go in here. If you're going to buy when market opens tomorrow, let's say, you get in there, your profit target right there, and I put the stop loss right around this kind of candlestick right here, right at the yesterday's close. And this ratio isn't actually very good, so you'd be looking at something kind of a little bit better in terms of price target. You have to let it work and get up here at 1.3. All the way up here would be a 2.2, which would be a great kind of ratio. But that's how I would kind of build this kind of target in. It's a little bit more protected on the downside, depending on what you want to do, risk reward. You can even tighten it up, and you can even say, hey, I want to take it to just below yesterday's kind of close. Hate these candlesticks right over here. Put those into play. We'll just go here, the stop loss just below them, because it kind of runs around that area, then kind of drops lower. If we go back down now our price target makes a little bit more sense in terms of 1.79 multiplier on our risk reward ratio. And if you want to get bullish but also have a measure of downside protection, you could also go ahead and do what's called selling a naked put, where you agree to buy 100 shares of the stock, but do it somewhere around this kind of area, in a pullback area, maybe even down here, 260, 270, in that kind of area. Give yourself a downside buffer. So if you have to buy the shares, you do that at 265, let's say, or 260, you get paid to do that. But if the stock price declines back to this area down here, you're buying shares at this level. If it kind of hits there and consolidates, you buy some shares. Hopefully it bounces off there, moves higher again, and you can kind of sell and get some appreciation as the stock runs up higher. I am very bullish on this stock. I am going to be looking to take a position this week. If you agree with me, give me a like on this video. If you don't, post a comment and tell me what you think the price target of Tesla is going to be. Are you bullish? Are you bearish? Where do you think it's going to go? Are you going to go up 300 plus? Is it going down back to 240, 230, back down this area, and going to consolidate for a little while? What do you think? Let me know in the comments for this video. Hope you guys got some value out of this one. The stock case for Tesla is here in its glory. Thank you for watching very much. My name is Andrew Ferguson. I will catch you on the next one.